Hi BookTube, this is my weekly wrap-up for the week of April the 15th.
I got my ticket for the long way round. 2 bottle whiskey for the way.
I had kind of a so-so week in terms of new adult contemporary, and it was okay. I listened to 2 books this past week that were new adult contemporary, and then I read 1 print book and then 1 novella as an ebook. The novella that I read was Time's Echo, and it is part of the Timebound series by Rysa Walker. The first book in that series is Timebound, the second is Time's Edge, and it is due out later this year. I want to say November. I had the privilege, really, truly, it was an honor to beta read that for her. And this series is wonderful. It's all about time travel. It's a little bit of historical fiction, but really not so much that as more of a sci-fi element. And really, really good. It's a complicated story with a lot of characters and a couple of subplots, but you know, all in all, I found it very engaging, very easy to read, and really, really good. So I'm looking forward to that coming out later this year. And the novella was really nice. It gave you a whole background story on one of the main characters, and you kind of saw things from his perspective, and so that was really nice. So the print book I read was Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. I pulled this out of my TBR jar, and this I thought was going to be a regular old, you know, YA book, really written for more high school people and above. And it's really more upper middle grade. It's dystopian about a society where, you know, when you reach, I think it's age 16, you go and you have surgery and they make you pretty. And so the whole society is very superficial. It's all based on how you look, and the story is all about the main character reevaluating what she thinks about that and kind of reassessing everything she's been taught and escaping and going to people that aren't like that and all that kind of thing. Because it wasn't what I expected, it was written kind of a little bit lower than what I'm used to reading. I wasn't impressed with it. I wasn't, you know what, I wasn't amazed. I liked it well enough, but I didn't like it well enough to continue with the series. I don't care about these characters that much. But, yeah, for someone who is maybe 13, 14 years old, it might be really, really a good book and a good introduction to dystopia. So, yeah, 3 stars. And then on to the new adult contemporary. The first one I read was called Down to You. That is by M. Leighton, and it was narrated from 2 points of view by Kate Rudd and Benjamin Darcy. The story is set in and around Atlanta, Georgia. So the people, the main characters, are from Georgia. Well, Kate Rudd, as a narrator, is from she sounds like she's from Chicago or that area. And I loved her voice, but it didn't really jive with the characters at all. So, you know, I kind of just had to set that aside because I really did like her voice. Kind of an average story. I ended up giving this book 2 stars because I just wasn't that impressed with the story. And now I know new adult contemporary tends to be a bit formulaic. But with me, it's kind of hit or miss, and this was a miss, I have to say. What I found about this was that while the new adult romance that I really like is about the romance, it's about how the relationship develops between the 2 main characters, and then, of course, everything that follows in terms of, you know, life after that and their physical relationship and on and on. Well, this wasn't really about romance. This was about sex, and, you know, that's fine if you want to include that in the story, but for that to be the focus of the story, I just didn't find all that appealing. Like, you know, these people didn't even know each other. They were just attracted to each other, and that was all there was to it. And, you know, I at least, on some level in my new adult fiction, I would like for the people to at least have a little more substance to their relationship than just that. So 2 stars from me. Yeah, just didn't work for me. The other new adult contemporary I read was the sequel to The Edge of Never by J.A. Redmerski. It's called The Edge of Always, and it was narrated on audio from 2 points of view by Daniel May and Leslie Belair. Now, in this case, Leslie Blair sounds like she's a person who is from North Carolina, and the main character, Cameron, is from North Carolina. So it was kind of nice to equate that, like her voice sounded just like I imagined this character, so that was kind of nice. I only gave this one 3 stars because it just did not hold the appeal of the first book. And the reason I say that is because, you know, it's the continuing story of the 2 main characters in the first book, obviously. They go through some life things, and then they go on another road trip like they did in the first book. And, you know, that sort of solves the problem. But what the book tried to do, I think, was really emphasize the idea that if you're not happy with your life, then you should take steps to change it, and that you should never be happy with the mediocre. And while I think that that is a very, very good idea and also a very good tenet to live your life by, I thought, okay, I get it already. I get it. It was just a little, like, over and over and over again. This book kept coming back to that, and I kept thinking, okay. And as it went on, it just began to lose substance. You know, it was like, it just dragged. It was like, let's just, okay, can we just move on? Then there's an epilogue, which is nice. It wrapped it up really nicely, but yeah, it just didn't quite do it for me. So 3 stars, yeah. There were 2 books that I read earlier in March that were also new adult contemporaries. I read them both as ebooks. I'm pretty sure I got them from NetGalley. The first one was called Undone. It is the first in the Country Roads saga by Shannon Richard. And I gave it 3 stars. I liked it well enough. This was a book that it was considered new adult contemporary, but it was the characters, their life goes a little bit beyond just, you know, we meet, we get to know each other, there's a romance, and then the end. It tried a little too hard, I thought. It was okay. It, you know... Sometimes, like I say, these books are hit or miss with me, and that was kind of a near miss. I didn't think it was terrible, but it didn't amaze me. And of course, it's the standard, like I say, formulaic story of boy meets girl. In this case, they got together. There wasn't a whole lot of drama that went along with it. So that made it kind of nice, but it also kind of made it a little bit bland. So, yeah, it was on the bland side. The other one I read early in March was called The Best Kind of Broken, and that's by Chelsea Fine, and it is book 1 in the Finding Fate series. Now, this one was cute. This one was pretty good. I would give it 3.5 stars. I would round it down to 3, but it was good. It's about 2 college kids during the summer, and they're both working at an inn that's owned by the girl's aunt. And it was a cute story because they have to overcome this extreme dislike of each other, and they play pranks on each other all the time. So that part got entertaining. I think where it got serious, it got just kind of sappy, but that was okay. You know, of the 4 that I've read recently, that was probably the best one. So that was my week. I did start listening to Of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. I love this book so much, and I am dragging it out because I don't want it to end. I love this series because I like the story. It's fantasy, but the writing is phenomenal. This woman is such a good writer. She just tells the story so beautifully. This was one of my top series last year. It's the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, and you know what? It will remain one of my top all-time favorite series just because of the writing, and I have a feeling I'll be rereading it this year. So don't want that to end. I'm going to drag that out as long as possible. Now, like every week, I pull a book out of my TBR jar, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get one from down in the bottom. Let me see it. I've got like 3. Okay, just one. All I want is one. Okay, this is A Temptation of Angels by Michelle Zink. That's right here. I picked this up recently at my closeout store. When I hauled this, I read the back cover, and it sounds intriguing. It says, an immortal destiny, a forbidden love, an impossible choice. So this should be pretty interesting. I like books about angels, so I'll look forward to that. So that is it for now. I will be back with Friday Reads on Friday and back with a couple of tags later this week. I've been tagged at least once, and I saw another one that I really wanted to do because it looked like way fun. So, and maybe a book haul. So I will see you then, and as always, thank you so much for watching.
When I'm gone, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my walk. You're gonna miss me by my talk. Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.